What's up, New Phoenixes? Thanks so much for tuning in to Elon's Live on Air Are You Ready web show. We've got a lot of information for you today, so we're really excited. For those of you who are returning viewers, thanks so much for coming back. And for those of you who haven't seen the show before, you're in luck if you go to our schedule page at www.elon.edu/areyouready. Click on the schedule page, and there are links to all the recorded sessions. Now, for today, we're going to be talking about the residence life and all the neighborhoods that are involved in that. And I'm sure that's a topic that you guys are really interested in. So a little bit about these sessions first. The Are You Ready web shows are designed to provide an intellectual discussion between current Elon students, staff, as well as you guys, the incoming students. And we have a lot of information that we want to talk about. My name is Sam Jones. I'm going to be one of your hosts this summer. I'm a rising senior here, and over here we've got Lori Shackle. She's our producer. Lori?
As Sam said, I'm the producer for this web show, so I will be taking your questions and asking the experts live. So while you're watching on the screen, there should be a Q&A panel on the right, and if you submit your question, we will try to get to it live.
Awesome. We also have some staff here from Residence Live. We've got Marquita Barker.
Hi everybody, my name is Marquita Barker, and by now you've received your on-campus housing assignment and plenty of emails from me.
We also have Alicia Ingold.
I'm Alicia Ingold. I'm the Residence Life Fellow in the Historic Neighborhood.
And then we also have several Elon students that work in Residence Life. If you guys want to go down and say your names, your majors, as well as what year you are.
Okay, my name is Sierra Dixon. I am a proud member of the class of 2016, so I'm a rising junior. And my majors are music theater and strategic communications.
Hi, I'm Kayla Harvey. I'm a rising junior as well, and I'm majoring in exercise science.
Hello, I'm Evan Maselli. I'm also a rising junior, so the best class ever. And then I'm a sport event management major.
So I think a lot of students are wondering about, you said the assignments recently went out. How are those assignments made? How do those get sent out? Are they random or?
Well, students apply, they do a housing application, and they do a lifestyle survey. So we try to match you up with people who go to bed at the same time, have a similar communication style. That's if you don't choose your own roommate. And so if you do, we try to match you up with the person who you chose. If you don't, then we match you up on the lifestyle survey based on your deposit date to the university.
Is it pretty typical that students choose like a student that they know, or is it more typical for students to choose, do the quiz? There's a quiz involved, correct?
Yeah, actually, most of our students, about 60% of the students, choose to get a random roommate.
Okay.
Wow.
Did any of you guys do a random roommate?
Yep.
I didn't.
No?
You didn't?
No, I think I'm the only one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did it work out?
I loved my random roommate. We're
Yeah.
still really good friends, so
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to go random.
it's,
Yeah,
no.
it's good.
My random roommate and I are still, like I said, very good friends. I've gone up and visited him in his home, which is in Maine, so that's kind of far away. So
wow.
That's awesome.
definitely visited him there. So it was a good choice.
I've visited mine as well.
Me too. I had a random roommate as well. And
There you
I
I'm
actually
still
ended
my
up.
roommate, don't worry.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
We're here.
Yeah, I ended up living for part of my junior year with my original freshman year roommate again, because it worked out so well. So that's wonderful. So what is the entirety of Res Life? What does that all encompass? Because there's several different buildings, there's learning communities. We can talk about what the learning communities are as well.
So I can take that one. Residence Life as a whole is basically just all of the housing and operations that go along with that, as well as the residence education piece. So that's where having the RAs come in, as well as having learning communities and things like that. So the residential campus initiative is kind of the larger initiatives that within Residence Life and the whole campus really. And so what that means is that it's linking the experience you're having in the classroom with the experience you're having in your residence hall, which is a really great link to have. And sometimes you don't realize that it's happening because you spend a lot more time outside the classroom than inside. And so it's a great way to really tie that together through programming and just meeting new people in your neighborhood.
We have a question about living learning communities. So, someone's wondering what is a living learning community. So have you guys lived on one of those?
I can
things?
take
Yeah.
that. I've lived in the Elon College Fellows Living Learning Community for 2 years. It's a wonderful experience. Basically, they get a group of people who are either have similar interests, same major, stuff like that. There are 20 living learning communities at Elon, and it's a great way to have kind of like an instant community when you first get here, and you make great friends. The deadline's already passed for this year, but you can apply for your second year. And you get to do a lot of cool activities, such as last year we had a big Thanksgiving dinner. We went ice skating to the zoo. And then in the spring, we all went camping on the beach for a night, which was a really fun experience.
I lived on the honors floor also, so I lived in learning community for 2 years, and our faculty advisor each year would have us over for like a cookie decorating party around holidays and during like exam times, so like a de-stress thing. So it was very good for bonding. And do all living learning communities have faculty advisors? Can you tell us about that?
They all have faculty advisors. Some actually live in the neighborhood, but others just advise and kind of come and do programming with the students on a regular basis.
Yeah. I know we talked a little bit about RAs. Yeah. So can we talk about, I think, were all of you RAs? Maybe some current still?
Yeah.
Can we talk about what is the RA's role?
Yes, I can take that one. So RAs act as people who are in your community who really help foster the experience from leaving home and coming to college. They're a great resource that you can use to reach out and really get a hold of all the different opportunities that Elon has to offer. Additionally, we do programming on your hall and in your neighborhood and even across campus. So it's a great way to really, again, bridge the gap from home to college and really step into Elon's community.
And they're all also current students.
Yeah.
They're peers. They're your peers. And RA stands for Resident Advisor. So I think that, I don't know, like I actually was an RA for 2 years, and I think that I wanted to be an RA so much because my own RA had such big impact on me, and she was just, not only was she, you know, a friend, she was also there to help me find resources that I needed, or I don't know, I think it's a really big part of the first year experience, that bonding with your RA. So we talked a little bit about roommates. When students are first beginning, there's a roommate agreement that they have to complete, and I think that that's a big part of setting kind of like the ground rules for their environment. Can we talk a little bit about the roommate agreement?
Yeah, I can talk a little bit about that. Yeah, no, the roommate agreement's really great. It helps kind of set boundaries a little bit, so that way you guys can like agree, like, hey, you know what, if it's after midnight, maybe we should turn off the light or just keep quiet lights down, or maybe quiet times after midnight, something along those types of lines, and also agreeing like whether we're sharing stuff and that type of stuff. So I mean, my roommate and I, we took it seriously, and it actually really helped us because I mean, there's a couple times where we might have had a little bit of a disagreement about stuff, but then going back to the roommate agreement and then also talking with our RA really kind of helped iron out those potential issues.
Right, and if you ever have like a dilemma where you're like, well, we put this on the agreement and your roommate's not agreeing, your RA is always a resource that you can go to for help in those situations.
Definitely, I can attest to that. My roommate and I, we were both like so afraid of confrontation, like we didn't want to make the other one mad or didn't want to leave the lights on if the other one was sleeping and things like that. So neither of us were trying to compromise at all, and so we really had some issues, and our RA definitely stepped in and helped facilitate the kind of conversations that we needed with like in a respectful environment, which I really appreciated. So the RAs are trained for stuff like that too, like counseling wise. It's great.
It's good just be honest with your roommate of your preferences, and just right from the beginning helps a lot.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think that, you know, the agreement, it's not too typical that it always comes up, you know, to go back to as like a contract, you know, where but it's there. I mean, that's the purpose. But I think another purpose of it is just to have those conversations that you might not otherwise have, because not everybody thinks about, you know, asking their roommate, what time do you go to sleep? Because that might be like a weird question, just like randomly ask your roommate. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or people might not feel comfortable without some other sort of, you know, incentive involved. So I think it's definitely important.
We have a question about move-in day that's gotten a lot of likes. So what should students bring on move-in day?
A positive attitude. I mean, I guess obvious things, you know, really cute bedding, storage items, don't bring animals, no pets, no 55-gallon fish tanks, right?
if you have questions on what to bring, you can go to the Residence Life website, which is on Elon's website.
Yeah.
And I would say it's helpful to start talking to your roommate now about who's bringing what, so you don't end up with like 8 million plates and a ton of trash cans and stuff like that. So if you plan ahead of time with your roommates who can bring what, it'll be much more efficient for everyone.
Yes.
So when can students move in, and what's that process like?
Well,
move-in day is Friday, August 22nd,
Mhm.
And so they'll get there. The times are staggered throughout the morning, so depending on where you're living, and so you'll move in at either 8, 9, or 10, and that's just to help with traffic flow and those kinds of things. And so you'll receive an email later this week from orientation that says what time you can move in based on where you live, as well as driving directions. There will be a specific way for you to drive, and so you'll just get there, and then all of orientation and Residence Life will be there to help you move everything, answer questions you might have, that sort of thing.
It's really fun. Get excited.
Yeah, it's super fun.
Definitely.
We have another question. Can you live on campus all 4 years?
Yes.
You can live on campus all 4 years. You're required to your first 2 years, but housing is not guaranteed all 4 years.
And then also junior senior housing can get pretty nice too. I'm living in Station at Mill Point this year, and it's beautiful. I moved in. I'm loving it. So it's a really good incentive to try to stay on campus because those apartments are very nice.
And to keep your grades up, because housing selection after this year is all up to your GPA.
So can we talk a little bit about where you guys as students lived your first year and what your experiences were like?
Okay, well, I can start. I lived in the Colonnades neighborhood, and I loved Colonnades. It is, I think the theme for this year is connected communities, because it's the only area where all of the buildings are in one quad. So it's really nice. Kids are always out playing Frisbee or tanning or playing music, and it's just a great community. There are, I think, 8 learning communities in Colonnades. I was a part of the Sustainable Living learning community. I think something else that Colonnades incorporates that is really cool, and other areas, first-year learning areas incorporated as well, are linked courses. So their courses, every first-year student takes a course called the Global Experience, and in that course, Res Life tries to put students who live in your area in that particular class, which is super helpful, because when you come home from class and you don't want to travel across campus to meet someone in your group, your person is next door to you or across the quad or in the building next door, and it's super awesome to have that experience. So I know a lot of my friends had global classes that were in their residence hall, and it was really awesome.
My first year I lived in Danley, and I absolutely loved it. I got really, really close with my suite, and just 8 girls had a whole lot of fun together. And last year I lived in Isabel Cannon, which is an historic, and that too was a really great experience. Both good areas.
Yeah, my first 2 years living on campus, I lived in Colonnades just like Sierra. We actually worked together this past year, but it was a really great experience. I mean, they had it's obviously prime location. You're right near everything. You can go right to the Colonnades dining hall and whatnot. But then also the neighborhood association was really strong there as well, which is a really good way for me to get involved in campus, and it's helped me. The neighborhood associations are kind of ways for help. It's a part of the residential campus initiative. It's a way for students to get involved in the on-campus atmosphere, I guess you could say, especially within your community, which is really good. And it's headed by the AD, which is the area director, and then also the faculty director as well. They co-chair that, and they both live in the area. Faculty director is a professor, and then the area director is a professional graduate level staff member, and they're all both awesome. So
yeah, and we plan events as well. Like you know, the neighborhood association plans some really great events in all of the areas.
Yeah.
We have a question about that. So
Okay,
can you elaborate on what kind of events happen in each of the neighborhoods?
Well, I can speak for Colonnades. We have the Colonnades Carnival, which is a huge, like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
it's so fun.
it's really
I
fun.
think this year we had like cotton candy and like Kona ice, and this hot dog guy who was super enthusiastic about his hot
caricature
dogs.
too.
Yeah.
Caricatures.
That was really fun.
I was doing like a tattoo. Like this is a little
Henna tattoo?
stamp on
Oh yeah, I got my
tattoos.
unicorn.
Yeah, he got his unicorn. It's just a really fun way. Again, Elon does a lot to connect the communities. So, I mean, even people who didn't live in Colonnades were able to come to the Colonnades Carnival. It's a staple event in the area.
I went.
Yeah, everybody loves it.
I rode
It's so
a
much fun.
unicycle.
There you
Right?
go.
Yeah. Historic last year had first ever historic block party, which is really great. Kind of gets everyone involved. Since historic is spread out a little bit, it brought everyone together. And my first year in Danley, there's a big scavenger hunt all over Burlington and surrounding area. I think it went on for 3 days. That was one of the most memorable experiences of my first year.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I mean, I lived in Colonnades the past 2 years, so my experience is pretty similar to Sierra's. But no, I know what you're talking about with the Phoenix Find.
Yeah.
That's what it was. The whole scavenger hunt across Burlington. It was really good for you to help you get to know the area that you're living in too. Because I mean, sometimes you might try to stay on campus because it's just so great, but then it's a really good opportunity for you to get out and see different areas around Burlington. So for sure.
And so in addition to some of those fun programs, you mentioned we have assistant directors, which are full-time staff members who live in the areas, and faculty directors who live in the first-year neighborhoods as well. And so in addition to those fun programs, sometimes you can just go downstairs to the lobby and sit and talk about class with your faculty director, talk about what research they're doing, and really just have conversations around your classwork and the intellectual climate with your peers. And so that's really important too, in addition to some of the more social events that we have. Both are great.
Definitely. And throughout the year, there's programming. I mean, RAs really create like a lot of programs for their residents to partake in, and a lot of them are fun. A lot of them are bonding experiences, but sometimes there are also ones. I know as an RA, I did several service trips, and there's depending on what learning community you're in, or if you're not in a learning community, what your hall as a whole really wants to do. Communicating with your RA is really a good way to ensure that you're going to make an impact in a way that you really want to when you first come to Elon, because a lot of it's about communication, I think. Absolutely. For sure, especially with your advisor.
If you want a program done, just talk to your RA and they can make it happen, and you will never be bored. There's always always in your neighborhood or on campus.
Yeah. And there's also funding for that.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Each group.
So we've talked about Colonnades and Historic a lot, but what are some of the other places that first-year students can live? Can we talk about their events too?
Yeah. So there's Danley, and I think that they have this chicken picking thing that they do every year. Mm-hmm. Does anybody know more about that?
I can talk about it a little bit. Chicken picking is this activity where you basically try to make your best kind of barbecue chicken, like whatever flavor you want to do, and you get to bake it for that day. And then there's taste testing, and always really good chicken, which is awesome. But then, so it's a judging system, and then it's fun for you to get out and see what other people can come up with for their spices, like family like recipes and all that type of stuff. So it was really good, and then the chicken always tastes amazing. So
right.
Yeah.
And then there's also the Global neighborhood, which is newer. So they're still trying to form their traditions. It just opened 2 buildings last year, and the next three, correct? Yeah. Will be opening in the fall. So you still have time to make those traditions in Global.
Yeah. And a tradition that happened this past year in Global, Tuesday night dinners, where you might watch a film and then have some intellectual conversation with your faculty member about the film. So that's one tradition.
And what's the spread like in terms of I guess age ranges or years that are like sophomore, freshman, or first year, junior, senior, throughout the different communities? Yeah, what's that like?
Well, I guess Colonnades is primarily first-year students. I would say Global is more geared towards first years as well. I know Station at Mill Point and the Oaks are usually for upperclassmen. I think sophomores can sometimes get into the Oaks, but they're usually reserved for upperclassmen. Really, the first-year communities are Global, Danley, Colonnades, and Historic.
Yep.
And we don't have any neighborhoods that are all first-year students or anything like that. We believe in intentional mentoring between sophomores and first-year students, so it's going to be a mix throughout all the neighborhoods.
Yeah, actually going off that, it was a really good experience for me because my first-year hall, I lived right across the hall from sophomores. It was really good for me to get to know and become really close friends with people who were older than me, maybe a little bit more mature than me, that just helped me kind of ease my way into Elon, which is really good.
Yeah.
For a lot of first-year students, it's going to be their first time away from home. Maybe living with someone else as well. Can we have some of our students talk about experiences with the transition from being home to coming to Elon and how residence life played a part in that?
Well, I think one of the most important things is to remember that everyone around you is in this very same position that you are. So you're not alone, so you can go to your peers, you can go to your RA. all of the professors, anyone here knows what you're going through and is willing to reach out and help you. But just, you know, do what you have to do. Like, if it means you have to call your mom every day, do it. I did,
Call your mom.
Call your mom, yeah. But really, everyone here is absolutely willing to help you out and make that transition smoother for you.
We have a lot of other transition tips on the website under Words of Wisdom. Side note.
And there are other people for you. I mean, I know that as an RA, I had some students that might have been like homesick, or just wanted to talk about, you know, the transition, because it is different. It is something. It's thrilling and exciting, but it's also really different.
Yeah.
So there are resources and people to talk to about that transition. Not only your peers, but also your RAs. I know that there was an initiative I think that started last year. That was for. It was to help people that maybe were homesick. Was that just started last year?
Yes.
It was started last year. And I had one of my residents participate in that, and they really, really enjoyed it, and it made their transition a lot better and easier.
We have a couple more questions that are
Yeah,
rolling in pretty
please.
steadily now.
Yeah.
So, are there kitchens, lounges, laundry rooms in the dorms? What's the layout like? I know it varies a lot, but
It's definitely there's a lot of different setups going on with in terms of the residence halls. I mean, colonnades, you have the community kitchen, and then also community washers and dryers for each floor. But I know that's different in like Danley, for example. I mean, you have in your flat there's the common space, and there's also laundry too, right?
Yeah.
And Global is the same as Colonnades.
Yeah.
There's like a common area that has a television and couches and tables and quiet study rooms, and then there's a kitchen that's fully like equipped with a microwave and things of that nature if you want to cook or anything like that. And Global and Colonnades are that way. What about Historic?
Historic tends to have like a hall laundry. There are some with kitchens. Not all of them have kitchens though, but you're always welcome to go to other halls and cook. And
If you're at all confused, you can always go on Res Life's website and look at the floor plans of your buildings, and it really helps a lot.
okay. And so for the buildings that have lounges and things like that, I know some of them have courses that happen in those lounges. So can you talk a little bit about courses that happen in the halls?
Right, so it's just the linked courses. So for example, I know the Global Experience is a course all first-year students have to take, and some of them take that in the residence halls. I believe there's also statistics classes that are taken like as a linked course. I don't know if those are necessarily offered in the residence halls. And then there's also like college writing. English that is also offered as a linked course. Not necessarily will all those classes be in the residence halls, but they do connect students who live in the same residential neighborhood.
my Elon 101 class was actually in the lounge in my hall, which was
That's so
really
awesome.
great experience. Yeah.
So there's some new buildings that are opening up. Can we talk a little bit about those in August?
Someone wants to know more about Global. So
more about
Yeah.
that fit.
Globe.
Yeah, I can talk about that. So as Sierra said earlier, there were 2 that opened last year, and the last 3 are coming online. And so they'll look the same as the ones that were already open. So kind of what they're talking about, those lounges in the hallways, those quiet study spaces, as well as that hall-style laundry and everything. And there's different ones. So you'll have it set up so you'll have suite style is what they call it. So like Jack and Jill, where you'll share a bathroom in between.
And is that a place where students will have classes in their own residence halls as well?
They could. And so the Global Experience is one of those classes that could happen on the first floor of those buildings.
Okay. Awesome. What other questions are coming in, Lori?
We have a couple more. When do you sign up for clubs and groups?
Okay.
Organizations.
So the organization fair is a really great experience. You'll hear all about it, orientation from your RAs. Basically, all the clubs go out on in front of Mosley and set up tables, and you just learn about all the different clubs and things that Elon has to offer. I think there are over 200 clubs at Elon.
Yeah.
And if there's something that you want to do that's not already here, you're more than welcome to start your own club.
For sure.
There's always a ton of food at the org fairs.
Yeah.
Also, everyone's
stuff.
trying to get
And
you
free
interested.
stuff, yeah. Lots of free shirts. Really
Lots
good.
of free
Free
shirts.
stuff.
Good time.
And you can sign up to get, email updates from different clubs. You don't have to commit right there, but it's definitely a good way for students to get involved and also get to know upperclassmen, their peers. Just because everybody who's going to be at the org fair is going to have, been a part of that club for a little bit and want to get, new students involved.
And you'll find stuff that you never even knew you were interested in. You'll see it and you'll say, oh, I think I might want to do that. So like I'm on the ballroom team. Never thought that I would do that, but absolutely love it. So.
Yeah, and like Sam said, when you put your email down, you're not committing necessarily. So I know I signed up for a lot of things and then kind of went into a bunch of meetings to weed out which ones I really liked.
Right.
So sign up for a lot of things. Go do stuff. It's great.
If they're just going back to like when students first meeting their roommates, they're completing this roommate agreement, they're talking with their RAs if there's any issues that come up. But say a situation occurs where two students they can't resolve an issue, which is something that could possibly happen. It's two people that are coming together who might have differences in their past and stuff. So is it possible for a student to say if they wanted to move to a different community, is that something that's possible throughout the year?
Throughout the year, yes. We have what we call Room Change Day, and that's pretty much, we have a list of open rooms, and if students are interested in moving, they can. And we wait until about the third week of classes for that to happen because we really want students to give it a chance.
Yeah.
Meet your roommate. I'm sure you have more in common than you think you do.
Right.
And find what you do have in common and focus on that. But if for some reason you need a room change, yes, you can come to Room Change Day. But.
For sure.
Okay. We only have a few minutes left,
Okay.
but I have some more questions for you guys to answer real quick. We just got a bunch. I heard about neighborhood themes. What are each of those?
Okay, well, Colonnades is connected communities. Love that. Came up with that with the staff.
Yeah.
And like I said before, it's basically because Colonnades is the only residential area that's truly like just connected in a rectangle. So that's a theme for Colonnades. Do you guys know the other ones?
Colonnades also focused on sustainability because it's sitting on that geothermal well. And so that's actually one of the really cool things that when I lived here as a student I didn't know. It kind of freaked me out at first when I learned that we were sitting on a geothermal well. But
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So they do a lot of, I'm not sure exactly. Heating water, something about heating.
It's how they cool. It's how they cool and heat the
water to cool and heat the buildings, right?
Yeah.
So we all just learned something.
Yeah.
Learn something new as we go along.
So some of the programs that they've done, they have like you ride a bike to make your own smoothie, and just like thinking about kind of what your impact is on the earth. And then in historic, it's all about traditions. So you'll start and end your experience under the oaks out in front of West, and so we focus a lot on traditions that happen there, as well as other things you'll do throughout the year, so college coffee and those types of things.
And I think global is just really like being a global citizen and what that means. Do we cover them all?
And Daniel has a focus on leadership and wellness.
Right.
Cool. So and one more question. Do students study in their rooms, or do most students go to the library, you think? Like
students study all over campus.
Wherever there's space.
Outside. Definitely.
Coffee shops.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of students studying in common rooms, and I think that Elon sets that up because there's so many ways, like through the link courses and LLCs, where you'll be with people who have the same interests as you, and then they may be in your classes because of the similar interests. So I see a lot of kids studying together in the common rooms. I mean, it really depends on your preference. If you want to sit at your desk, sit at your desk. If you want to go outside, go outside. You know what I mean?
Definitely venture into Linder.
Linder.
Awesome study space there.
Yeah.
And during exam time, there's quiet hours, and so during big exams, midterms, and finals, you can study pretty much anywhere because it should be quiet.
Yeah, and the library is going under a lot of renovations right now, so there's going to be a whole lot of new study space there, and there's also private study rooms, which are really good if you want to just get away and have a quiet space to yourself. For sure. It's a really good place. I know we only have a few minutes left, but can we have some closing, tips or advice for students coming in? I know that you guys have the perspective of both being first-year students and also being RAs.
I think, I don't know. I mean, just be yourself and don't be afraid to take risks and and just be ready for the experience that you're about to have. It's going to be an awesome 4 years. We're excited for you all to get here. I know the RAs will start training soon and like really gearing up for this school year. So just take advantage of everything that you have.
Definitely keep an open mind. There's going to be a lot of change going on in your life, and just be open mind and have a good attitude, and you're going to have a lot of fun.
Just smile. Because everywhere, like, honestly, it sounds cheesy, but just smile. Because that's how you're going to make friends, because you're going to be there and be like, you know what, this person looks happy, I want to talk to them. You know what, like, you might do poorly on a test or something, smile, it's okay, it's just going to pass, you know, it's okay. Smile. Just like this.
Do you guys have any more tips or advice?
I would also say probably just appreciate the experience. It's going to go really fast. The 4 years flies by. And just make sure that you really appreciate every day that you have here.
Sure.
And really focus on the relationships that you can build, not only with your roommate, but also people down the hall, your faculty members and staff members. Just build those relationships that will be, with you after you leave Elon.
Yeah.
Awesome. Do we get to all the questions, Lori?
We have a couple more if you have just a second, if you
A
answer
minute
them
or
real
two?
quick.
Yeah, sure.
Is it too late to join a Living Learning community for this year?
For right now it is, but you might have an opportunity to do so in the spring once people study abroad and there are vacancies in that community. So please let us know if you're interested, and we can talk to the faculty advisor to see if you could join in the spring semester.
Okay, that's the last one I've got, so.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I think that if there's any more questions, Lori will get them and we can post them on our website. If you want to check out our previous recorded sessions, once again, go to elon.edu/areyourready, click on our schedule page. There's a link to all the recorded sessions. But yeah, thank you guys so much for being with us today, and we hope to see you next week when we come back. We've got 3 sessions next week, so we're really excited for you, and Lori will be heading those. All right. Well, thanks so much. We hope to see you next week.
Thank you.
Bye.